Okay, shoulder day, June 20th workout breakdown. There's actually not a ton to go over here, but there's a few things that I think are valuable enough to make the video. So you're going to start with the single arm lateral raise and dumbbell lying reverse flies. These are kind of like secondary movements or supplementary movements to your typical primary lifts of shoulder day. Every now and then, I think it's really nice to start with some of these secondary movements, not the primary lifts, just to give you guys an idea of what your body can handle and what it feels like, not pre-exhausted, right? Normally we're doing the big lifts, the primary lifts first, and the time we get to a lot of these smaller lifts, you just don't have, your muscles don't have the energy or the strength to move the appropriate amount of weight, so you never get a clear idea of what you can handle. So every now and then, I think it's nice to start with something like this and just see what it feels like. Like how much weight can you move with good form, with good range of motion, while you're fresh. And then again, you can kind of go off of that, and the next time it rolls around, you'd be like, all right, well, I did 20s on my lateral raise, fresh as it gets. It's the third exercise I'm doing today. I've already done the medial side of my part of my shoulder twice. Like, I got to lower expectations. I'm going to do 15s, but you're basing it off of the fact that you finally got the opportunity to do this fresh. So single arm lateral raise, excited about that. I'm excited about doing it first. It makes a huge difference, speaking from experience, doing this first. Like my weights go up a whole weight class easily when this is like the beginning of my workout relative to the middle of the workout. Lying reverse flies, pretty much the same thing, right? The lateral raise doesn't really have any play on the reverse flies at the backside of your shoulder. So when you do these reverse flies, you're also going to have the same opportunity you have with the lateral raise, where you'll be completely fresh for the most part, and you'll get a really good idea, kind of like on the raw side, of what your body can handle with this particular movement. Again, kind of a supplementary movement for the most part, not a primary lift. Once you get through those two, you move on to the AMRAP. We have done this in the past. It's been a while. It fits really well with unilateral month, so does the lateral raise, by the way. But again, run 8 standing press on the right side, run 8 standing press on the left side. Keep in mind when you're standing, you're not as leveraged as you would be seated. So 40% is like very realistic for a lot of people. That plus sign, it's there, but this isn't one of the times I'd necessarily promote it. You have to be really, really stable, obviously from the ground up all the way through the kinetic chain in order to handle, more than 40%. So, still fun. You should have more than enough time by the time you get through these two movements. A solid, I would think, at the least 8 minutes. Hopefully, my plan was you have about 10 minutes here to get through that AMRAP. So you should be able to get through, 4 or 5 rounds on each side, not like 5 rounds total. Because again, you have to run before you do one side every single round. So that was my thought process on that. Again, fits well with the month. Dumbbell high pull, again, fits fantastic with unilateral month, and it's been a minute since we've had it kind of like sitting on an island where you just have time to do it. So you have 18 minutes here. Obviously, I want time for the bottom part of the Metcon, but this also gives you kind of open-ended, you're not like under a time crunch to just work on a movement that has a lot of technicalities. So, these Olympic lifts or the beginning of the Olympic lift here in the high pull, it's just really hard, and you need repetition and you need volume and you need an opportunity to do it in a space where you don't feel like you're being rushed. So this offers that 5 sets. A lot of times I dabble between 3, 4, or 5 sets. This is one of those ones where I just want you to do 5 sets. Like I want the repetition there, and I want you to get to a certain rep count. So that, the side story on that, if you're watching the old videos, is bone density. Olympic lifts are like the absolute best way to work on bone density, increase your T-score, no matter what age you are, especially though as you're aging. So we don't have to worry about osteopenia and all that fun stuff. We don't need to go down that rabbit hole. I have videos on bone density, but that's why the rep count is what it is. And the fact that, with a dumbbell in hand, doing more than 7 or 8 reps unbroken ends up really being like 14 or 16 reps because you have to do the opposite side. And it's just a lot of motion for one set. So keep that in mind as well. But again, this is a scenario that I'd be really excited about if I were you. It gives you an opportunity, again, to just work on a movement that's so crucial to lifting. Like we do high pulls in so many things. The basis of picking pretty much everything up off the ground is doing a high pull. So, even though it's single arm, like still the same movement. Working on triple extension, working on dropping your butt, chin out of your chest, working on leveraging your weight backwards, working on, the natural line of motion. Make sure you're facing the mirror, elbows level with your shoulder. Dumbbells should be floating pretty much from your belly button to your shoulder height, right? That's where you would actually end up making the hand flip at the top, but you have to generate the appropriate amount of power through triple extension in order to actually get to that part where the dumbbell is floating, where you're not just muscling it. The list goes on and on, but that's just a high pull. So anyways, I hope you guys see the value in doing the high pull in itself. And then the Metcon at the bottom, again, a little overhead stability through the step up in there, change the verticality, things get real dicey. So again, 2 dumbbells up and overhead. Not heavy at all. I mean, obviously, unless you want to, but your goal is really just to work on having an elevated heart rate and then challenging, core and trunk stability, obviously pelvis and shoulder girdle as well, with that elevated heart rate. Because again, you're coming off of the treadmill here. It's a fun little transition. I don't expect this to be heavy at all. I just want you guys to try to get into the appropriate position up and overhead, lock your shoulders out, maybe get double jointed, locked out your shoulder and your elbow, and then again have the ability to stabilize, stay composed enough that you're not like all over the place where like the wind's gonna blow you over, right? So anyways, that's June 20th, shoulder day. Again, hoping you guys see some value in some of these things, and unilateral month is going good for you.